And this is based on a piece out in Politico saying that Chinese companies are shipping rifles and body armor to Russia now. This does not sound good.
No, it doesn't. And Russia is not doing very well. Russia is now bogged down in eastern Ukraine for months, trying to take a relatively small city called Bakhmut. And there's no big Russian offensive that we expected. Therefore, Russia's last hope is for much more gear from China, North Korea, Iran. And we shall see if the anticipated failure of the Xi Jinping's peace initiative is going to be a justification for China to start providing much more ammo to Russia. If they do, this means the escalation of the relationship with the United States, because the U.S. made it very clear that we are going to punish Chinese companies that will be providing any kind of military support to Russia. But more broadly, the rapprochement between Beijing and Moscow that is going on under Xi Jinping's and Putin's watch is a realignment of the Eastern Hemisphere, a realignment of Eurasia. And the second-tier consequences of that we saw now in the agreement to reestablish diplomatic relations between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Iran. So China, not the United States, can dictate, preside, convene peace initiatives. As far as Ukraine is concerned, I remain very pessimistic because China is not talking about full territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. They're calling for a ceasefire. The Ukrainians are not ready for one.
So, Ariel, let me test just how skeptical you are. You're saying that, let's say, a peace initiative goes nowhere. That would give China, I guess, the ability to go ahead and start providing even more and more lethal arms to Russia. But let's say this peace initiative, this 12-point plan, actually does go through. A lot of people have a problem with it because even if it does call for a ceasefire, peace talks and ceasefire, as long as it does not call for any withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine, it'll simply give Russia the time and the cover it needs to rearm.
Exactly, exactly. And we know, I monitor Russian Telegram channels, Russian chat rooms, Russian media very carefully. I'm a native Russian speaker. And I know the Russian elite still didn't internalize the scope of their failure in Ukraine. They didn't manage to do what they thought they'll do in 1 week, what the United States did in Iraq with an army that was bigger than the Ukrainian army in 3 weeks, which is destroy the Ukrainian army, cause Zelensky to leave the country, and install their puppet regime in Kiev. They failed to do that. Therefore, the Chinese are having a dilemma. Are they going to continue doubling down on an army that is essentially losing? And then what? My answer is China is winning either way. If Russia fails, it sinks deeper into the Chinese orbit. If Russia wins, it becomes a battering ram against Europe and against the United States.